it's your boy AJ back with another freaking video, and today I'm here with another Housewives review. Okay, we just pushing it out. I'm trying to see what episode this is. This is episode 6 of the Housewives review. Okay, I actually recorded this on the day that the episode came out. I'm finally caught up so I can be coming every single week and on time, okay? But please excuse my lateness with the other 2 reviews, but we here on time this week. Any which way, hope you guys have enjoyed those reviews. If you haven't seen them, it's gonna be a playlist that pops up. Go watch those 2 reviews because I only did the last 2 episodes and then come back here. But today, like I said, we're gonna be reviewing episode 6. So let's roll the intro and get directly on into today's recap. So we know last week ended off with, you know, who is this hoe? It ended off with Kenya pulling out that girl's old face card, old body, and old dick that she was sucking. Okay, she pulled out everything that was old. Okay, so what they say, something new, something used. It was given that, okay? Something new, something used. That's what it was given last week at Kenya's hair salon. So this week's episode opens up 48 hours, okay? 48 hours later. I guess they gave the girls 2 days off to, you know, woosah, because it was a lot going on at Kenya Moore's hair store, okay? So it opens with Britt, of course, and she's on this sofa, girl, sobbing. She's on this sofa sobbing. Her husband looks confused. He looks like he ain't never seen her ever cry like this, ever. So I don't know if it's giving fake tears or, oh my gosh, she's really hurt. But the husband looks about as confused as me sitting on my motherfucking bed watching. Now, of course, she's talking about how traumatizing this whole ordeal was. I want to stand with her and, like, you know, support the traumatization. But girl, But they cut to her in the confessionals and she's already bawling. I'm like, oh my goodness, girl, it's tears everywhere. There's tears everywhere. Britt is sobbing, okay?
She doesn't even realize the damage that she has caused. What I'm going through with this situation, nobody should have to deal with being publicly shamed.
Now, like I said, the husband is sitting there in a full state of confusion, so he doesn't really know how to console her while she's sitting there talking about how she was embarrassed in front of 250 people and how she thought she had something white from the internet. While she's doing all that, girl, Kelly ends up knocking on the door. I'm like, thank God. Okay, interrupt this, child. Kelly ends up knocking on the door. She has some food, and did she bring flowers? No, she brought food and an IV specialist because she said, I felt like these bitches had drained you.
I felt like the bitches had drained her, so of course I'm bringing some IV fluid.
So these girls are IV'd up, and I don't know about y'all, but I hate going to the doctor and getting my blood drawn. That little thing in me, no. So I couldn't sit with no fucking IV in me unless I needed it in me and I was at the hospital about to go meet Jesus, okay? If I was about to go up yonder, then you can put the damn IV in me. But just on a normal day, sitting with a fucking needle, no. I can barely have that motherfucker in me for 3 minutes while they're taking my blood at the doctor and I'm ready to tear up their office. So anyways, that has nothing to do with my recap, but their girl getting this IV specialist. Now, of course, the conversation of Britt being the victim extends into the conversation with Kelly, and she's telling Kelly, like, you know, from day one I feel like I was picked on her. And I want to say this. I feel like this girl came into the show as a fan and she was really excited to meet Kenya. She was ready to meet Kenya more, and she wasn't as excited. And like, if y'all guys remember from like the first and second episode, she was trying to hug Kenya and Kenya was like, ugh, yeah, I don't know about that one. So all this stems from a goddamn hug that wasn't received. So I don't feel like she's picking on you day one. I feel like that she just wasn't as friendly as she thought she would be day one. You came in as a fan and not a housewife. And I feel like now you may be stepping into the housewife bag a little bit. You got a corner toe in there. Your whole foot ain't in the housewife bag. But you for sure came in the first couple of episodes as a fan. It gave very much fan or friend to the show. Moving on, the next scene is my girl Shamia, okay? I hope I'm saying her name right. Shamia, baby, go on, relax, what?
Sit back, hey, you know I'ma handle all that.
Oh my goodness. I gotta stop singing that song every time I say her name because it's gonna hold up the whole process over here. But anyway, she is getting her house ready for a couple of guests because the girls are gonna be coming over for a quick chat. Now, Kelly ends up arriving to the home first, and a couple girls follow, and Angela comes next. Now, Angela shows up with her fan, honey. It is a known thing. She is burning. I'm burning up. Come put me up. Come and put me up, girl. She is burning up, okay? But she swears and declares. What was it? She said that she's not going through menopause. She said, I promise you, I'm not going through menopause. It's just hard being the hottest bitch in the room. I said, okay, all right.
I am not perimenopausal. I'm just the hottest bitch in the room.
I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you, bitch. Okay, girl. Any which way, they move to the sofa, and of course, the girls start gossiping about Kenya's situation that happened, 48 hours ago. The first person says, Portia said that she didn't expect Kenya to twirl to hell.
That was Kenya's choice to twirl on down to hell.
Somebody said, girl, she might still be down there, girl. The girls are just going back and forth. The woulda, coulda, shoulda. Angela will jump in and ask her, what the fuck were you talking about the other night when we were at that little bar, bank restaurant, and you talking about some, information about y'all?
I want to ask you, at the bank, when you brought up Charles, what was that? Because I did take offense to that.
I said, damn. I said, Angela, I forgot all about that, girl. Go ahead and get your justice, bitch. Get your justice. I forgot all about that, bitch. Get so much shit that I forgot all about that, girl. But what the hell did you mean, Portia? What the fuck did you mean? Portia, of course, she says, I don't know nothing. I was just talking and I realized that, me and you ain't cool like that, so I don't even need to be making no jokes.
I didn't hear your husband was spicy. No, I heard something about Charles. I'm sorry. I was actually playing with you, and then I realized, okay, when you got as mad as you did, I was like, she doesn't know me like that. I don't know her like that. Maybe that was not the best joke.
Even if me and you was cool like that, that does not need to be part of your stand-up bid. No. No, what she say? What can he say? Don't nobody talk about Todd. Don't nobody talk about my man. Don't be talking about my man ever. If I'm on the battlefield, keep me on the battlefield. Don't bring nobody else into it. So I'm like, okay, whatever, girl. Girls begin to joke about all having degrees in investigation. And after that, they grab their plates and they head outside to father the chat. Drew arrives like super duper late, honey, but she tips through. She even has time to grab a plate out of the house on her way outside to join the rest of the girls. So I said, I'd be mad at this motherfucker. A bitch come an hour and a half late to my shit. And then she got a plate on the way to our, no, you need to sit here hungry for a couple minutes like we did.
So where you coming from? I mean, what's the updates?
Getting ready for court.
But she comes out there with a plate, honey, and she joins the conversation. Angela asks, what's her name? Portia, about Simon. She said, what's the update with Simon? And to my surprise, baby, she opens the fuck up immediately. She opens up. She ends up telling the girls, like, it's been difficult. It's been difficult. And even her daughter has been asking, like, where's Simon? Where's Simon? And she has to tell her daughter, like, look here, Simon's at work. And, of course, the daughter asks, how long? And she's like, child, I don't know.
She said, where's Simon? So I said, he's away at work. And she said, how long he gonna be gone at work? And I said, for some time.
Portia gets emotional. She ends up sobbing, and she ends up saying, that she reached out to Simon and said, hey, PR's asking for you. She's asking, like, where are you? And he left her on red. That even pushes her into more emotion and says, this is about the kids. And I love you, Portia, girl. I love you, Portia. But girl, they're nice, baby. They're nice, and I know they probably had a great relationship. But every man that you may mess with, if they have a great relationship with your child, you can't just keep them now, girl. Cause now we got the daughter got a relationship with Dennis. And then you want the relationship to continue with Simon. And then if you get into something new, there's a whole nother dude. Girl, she got too many daddies. That's too many daddies. That's too many daddies.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
You want her daddy on every block, bitch. I said, okay, I see you, girl. Anyways, moving on. Kelly ends up asking Portia and Drew, hey, ladies, we're about to be hanging out a little bit more together, and I want to make sure that you two are seeing eye to eye, Portia and Drew. And Portia's like, you know, I don't got no beef. You know, it's cool with me. We see each other. We see each other. And they see each other, honey. So that's the end of that scene. The next scene, we have Kelly and Chloe, which is Kelly's younger daughter, I think like 17 years old. They're sitting around talking about, you know, the finalization of Kelly's divorce and all of the things that's been going on in the media. Somehow the conversation becomes from motherly bond to extreme whiplash and shade, okay? The daughter, Chloe, ends up telling Kelly like, hey, I don't want to get married, Mom, because I'm scared to be just like you. I said, oh shit. I said, wait, first of all, you 17. Baby, about time it's time for you to get married. You probably been and forgot about all the shit that done happened with your mama and your stepdad, girl. So look here, you focus on the wrong thing right now. You need to be focused on them hums and whatever the fuck you doing out there in that yoga. I'm gonna be honest. I would have shut the conversation down. You know, we can talk about, hey, you know, you can be here for me as a, you know, my child, and I'm going through divorce and this, that, and the other. But for you to be talking about something, well, now you just doing too much. I'm sorry. My child would have been, I would have shut my child up. Girl, and then the camera's here too. Girl, shut up. You sound fucking dumb.
I really don't want to get deserve married. Love. I want you to have what if I like end up like you? That's a scary thought.
I wouldn't want to hear none of that shit. But that conversation is going on, and of course Kelly is gagged on scene and also in her confessional. Next scene is Drew packing up, girl, because she gotta leave every first, third, and something. Every first, third, and fourth weekend. I'm like, damn, bitch, you gone every weekend, nigga. But anyway, she's packing her shit up because she has to leave because it's time for Drew. Well, I was gonna say Drew. It's time for Ralph to come up there and, you know, do his part-time parenting, honey. So she's packing her things up, and then she goes downstairs and they eating, you know, to go Waffle House. Okay, they eating Waffle House or whatever. Ralph appears out of nowhere, girl. Abracadabra. Girl, this nigga pop up out of nowhere and gags her. He's fully mic'd, and she's like, I'm about to go. She already know what the hell it is. Girl, she said, I'm about to go. And she hops up, and the kids disappear. They run off. I'm like, girl, I thought y'all had just started eating, but they, girl, hop up off the table and they run the hell off somewhere. Ralph and Drew end up having a conversation, and in this conversation, she's trying to get Ralph to pay for the exterminator. And I'm just looking, I'm making all type of faces because they're not talking about what needs to be exterminated.
Wait a damn minute.
And we got to send Ariana out there so she can figure out what the fuck going on, bitch. We got to send somebody out there so we can see what's being exterminated.
She lives in a f***ing roach nest? In my bathroom.
What in the world?
Kim and Brielle are like taping videos of people's homes and saving them.
You know, and I damn sure wouldn't be talking about no exterminator in front of these Bravo cameras. Girl, I had the Peacock cameras in there and what the hell, nah, girl. But Ralph is telling Drew, like, you know, I'm not paying for the exterminators. You can pay for the exterminators. You don't pay for anything else. I'm gagged, floored. I'm like, what does Drew do? I need to Google him. Google me, baby. I need to Google him. She gets ate the fuck up, okay? She gets ate the fuck up, and she scurries the fuck on out of there, girl. She hops in the car, and she's like, you say that's the shit, this is stuff. I'm like, girl, have you ever been swallowed up, girl? He swallowed you up. If you don't pay that little $75 and get whatever needs to be exterminated before I call Ariana.
I'm supposed to call the exterminator under the order.
That's not true.
Yeah, I talked to my attorney.
I don't know why, because I've been telling you to call the exterminator for probably about like 3 weeks now.
And I have been covering the exterminator when he came, but since my lawyer said it's something you're supposed to do, I was like, cool, that just takes something else off my plate. I already have so much on my plate.
Like what? You don't have anything on your plate. You don't pay bills here.
Okay, I'm gonna go now.
What do you have?
We're not getting ready to do that. We're not getting ready to do that.
What do you have on your plate?
You're not. Don't do that.
She hops on in the car and she scurries on down the road. In the car, she's talking trash shit about, you know, Ralph to her mom. And that is the end of the scene. The next scene is my girl, baby, go on, relax. Come on, she in the studio, girl. She's in the studio with some high executive producers and stuff like that. Now, while she's in the studio, Angela ends up joining her, girl, and she murders. She's totally the buzzkill. I'm sorry, Angela. You was a buzzkill because you came up in the studio session and you was like, you remember when Portia said that when you was singing it was Drew, bitch? How you feel about that right now? I said, bitch, I'm sitting trying to make a new banger, and you gonna come and remind me about the bitch that had me fucked up and said that she didn't even know that was me. Why would you? That's a buzz killer. But of course, the conversation is had, and she tells Angela like, hey, at first it bothered me, but we had a conversation in the car off camera about it, and she was like, I genuinely didn't know it was you, but it still bothered me. And I just, you know, I would be bothered too. I'll be bothered because one, girl, What the fuck you play like that for? And two, how did you know it was me? Because I just said I'm about to play you my new song. So you ain't listening at all. You ain't listen to what I said before, and you damn sure ain't listening to the bitch that's on the motherfucking beats. So you motherfucking Helen Keller bitch. I will be frustrated still too. One thing about me, I'm gonna keep it frustrated, okay? I stay frustrated, girl. So I'm like, I understand. I stand with you. But that conversation ends up getting shut down quickly because what's that girl's name? Drew. She ends up busting in the studio, girl. Now, once Drew gets into this conversation, they start talking about her and Dennis link-ups. And Drew is, girl, ultimate shade. She ends up saying, you know, I understand Portia didn't want me in the studio with Dennis, but the way we're doing things and the music we're making, these royalties about to hit, and it's gonna pay for PJ's college funding. Oh. Now, of course, Shamia, she jumps in and she says, you know, I think that's already, I think that's already been paid for. I said, oh, yeah.
The way this publishing is set up, that's gonna pay for PJ's whole college. Now I do know PJ's college has already been paid for. Well, you know, but contribute to some snacks or something.
Drew saying it's gonna pay for PJ's college fund. I said, oh, you gonna have to pay for that. It's gonna go down. I can hear Portia yelling now. You don't talk about my show. You don't talk about what the fuck is worth. I got fucking money, bitch. I should. You can't even fucking pay for extermination. I can hear Portia yelling now. Don't you ever talk about my motherfucking child. I can hear Portia fucking yodeling now, girl. So I said, oh, child, Drew, you gotta pay for that, bitch. You gotta pay for that. Cause I hear Portia yelling that. But any which way, Drew says, well, I guess, you know, if it don't pay for the college fund, it'll pay for some snacks. Wrap this scene up. wrap it up. The next scene is Britt and her mama, okay? Britt and her mama, their whole conversation gives the conversation of the pretty girl at school that was hated on and bullied. And, you know, mom's talking about some, you know, these bitches are just mad you got more money than them. That's literally, that is what was served, okay? For that whole little 4-minute scene, it gave like, oh, this bitch just that, and this bitch just this, and this bitch just this, and this bitch just that.
They like that. They like to hate. And they're not happy with their life. This is what they do. Now,
I would stand in agreement with the mother if we seen Britt come in and it was just like all the housewives kind of ganging up on her and they was treating her some type of way and da-da-da. This was, you know, an even playing field for you and, what's the baby's name? Kenya. You had her fucked up. She had you fucked up. It wasn't like she was just picking on you. Y'all were going at it. Y'all were arguing. You were seeing these. You had lions, tigers, and birds. Whips, chains, and pistols. You had lions, tigers, and birds. And she, girl, she went and, you know, went down to the FedEx office and made her a little poster board. And she came and did her back one. So it was, you know, it was an equal playing field. You know, both of you guys both had each other fucked up. It wasn't like she was just picking on you. But the mom is serving like, you know, bitch is gonna hate and this and another and another and another. I'm like, all right, girl. But that's that conversation. Now, the next scene is complete comedy because it is Portia and Shamia, okay? They're at this little, like, amusement park situation. And Shamia asks Portia, like, how did you feel being checked by Angela? You know, she wanted to know what you had to say about Charles. So then they end up calling Angela Miss Netta. I said, oh, Angela, you gotta get up on your good foot because these bitches got a new nickname for you every week.
Because Kelly call her Netta now.
The way she say his name, Charles. What you know about Charles?
Charles. I want to know what you know about Charles. Take it for sure, okay, Miss Netta. I said, come on, Miss Netta. I happy Miss Netta got her look ready, baby. Come on, Netta. Come on, Netta and Charles. Charles, your lunch is ready, honey. They moved the conversation over to Drew and Dennis, of course, and you know, Portia says, like, I'm at the point where I don't give a fuck if Drew works with Dennis, but you're not gonna bring this raggedy ass bastard on my show and film with him, period, point blank. Baby, the goddamn editing team has overlaid videos of Dennis on the show, damn well filming with Drew. I said, oh shit. Yeah, but they get the game started, okay? They end up playing a little golfing, girl, and Portia is whooping ass in the golfing game. But that is the end of that scene. Moving on to Kelly's event, okay? She has, I can't remember, some type of little event, baby. Some type of, I can't remember the title of it, honey. But there is an event being held. Now, Portia ends up calling Kelly right before the event gets started, and she says, excuse me, I'm gonna let you know I can't come now. I'm like, oh, damn, bitch, you gonna miss the hoe down. Because I seen it was gonna be a hoe down in the trailer. So you gonna miss the hoe down. But Portia is calling to say she's gonna miss the hoe down. And Kelly says, you know, hey girl, I'm praying for you. You know, I hope you feel better. Take everything, take all the medication, just take everything other than somebody else's man again.
Take everything, girl. Just don't take nobody else, man.
I said, oh, okay, all right. You bitch, I gagged. So did Portia, okay? But it's time to get this motherfucker started, okay? The girls start slowly coming in. They're having small talk until Britt gets there because she's not there. But the lady of the hour finally arrives, okay? She arrives, and once she comes in, they start checking on her like, hey, you know, how you doing? Because for the most part, nobody's really spoken with her. They've all spoken with Kenya. And who says that? I think, what's that girl's name? Kelly. Is that her name? I think so. Kelly. She the one, she tells Britt, like, you know, we haven't really heard much of your side. I'm sure the other ladies there spoken with Kenya. And when I tell you Britt says, y'all spoken with Kenya? I would be like, hell yeah.
You guys all talked to Kenya about her feelings?
We did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
From that second forward, the energy shifted. Okay, the energy shifted. She was outraged at them bitches that spoke with Kenya. She goes forth to say, like, this shit was crazy. I've been through it a lot mentally, and I can't believe that this is being brought back up. And then also, I've lost my insurance license. And Angela say, well, hold on, bitch. She said, how's that so? And Britt looks at her like, how's that so? How's that so? Do you not see what the fuck's going on here? And Angela like, you reading me, sis?
And I see through that. Sis? Yes, I am, bro.
Angela like, hold on, bitch. Hold on, bitch. We just shooting the same, bitch. Hold on, bitch.
Yesterday, she lost her insurance license.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Based on
really?
what? Right.
What do you
On
mean
what
based
grounds?
off of what? Are you confused? What's been going on?
They said she could fit it.
Wait a minute.
What do you mean based off of what?
Where's that energy coming from with me?
Oh, hold up, girl. I'm too hot for this shit. She got a shot. I'm trying to cool down over here, and you hot as a motherfucker, girl. I said, oh my goodness. Angela is not for it. She look at her. She's like, hold on. What is this energy? What is this energy?
Where's that energy coming from with me? I'm licensed as well.
She like, calm it down, baby. Calm it down. Of course, Britt is girl. She hot as a firecracker. She hot as a firecracker. She's like, bitch, you not see what's going on. You know, she's playing with me, and I lost my license, da-da-da. And with Angela being working in the insurance industry also, she's like, well, you know, this is, you know, not how shit goes. Bitches just can't put shit on poster boards, and bitches just start losing licenses immediately. Like, that's not how shit goes.
Well, in order to lose a license, there has to be cause. What was the cause? That's the question I asked. This energy, this is a peace offering. You're not coming in peace. I just asked you a question of how.
Once Angela tries to call her out about that, baby, Britt is looking very much like Black China on that Zoo show when she said, it's called because you can. It's called because you can. And she ends up telling Angela, read the fucking room. Read the motherfucking room. I'm trying to read your answer. Could you write it down? Because I asked you, how the fuck is this possible? Okay, bitch, is the shit she put on that sticky note true? Like, girl, how is this possible? But this Britt girl is telling her to read the fucking room. It is getting heated, okay?
Read the room. Why is she not here? Read the room.
Angela has to take her and her fan and her, what she say, Paula and Esther. She said all three of me. And I was thinking it's actually four of y'all. It's Polly, Esther, you, and then it's also your fan. But she said she's gonna take all three of her items, and she's gonna move them to the other side of the table. So she moves to the other side of the table to kind of de-escalate this situation. So girl, once they shuffle, okay, once they do the little musical chairs and move Angela on the other side of the table, Shamia, she takes over and she says, well, look at our eyes. And she puts her little bougie hands together. She says, so how did you come about losing your license? And Britt answers and she says, you know, they're doing an investigation. You know, they have to investigate you before you lose your license in entirety. And of course, Angela says, thought so. Britt says, what the fuck did that bitch say?
So, Britt, how did you come about losing your license?
Because of all of the backlash and the defamation, I'm under an investigation with my insurance license. So you don't lose them immediately. It doesn't work that way.
Thought so.
So, what was that, Angela?
I said I thought so.
Well, how about you be quiet?
I said I thought so.
It is going the fuck up. And Angela's like, I thought so. Bitch, I said, oh, Lord. Now, this conversation, girl, it really doesn't go anywhere, okay? Because the whole entire energy that Britt was serving is she wants these girls to hate Kenya. And I just feel like a lot of them see this for what it is. And they're not going to be swayed the way production has to be swayed, you know? Because this is production is a, you know, that's a $1 billion company. So, you know, hey, we don't want to get sued. But these girls, they can talk to Kenya and they ain't getting sued. They can work with Kenya or do something with Kenya and they ain't getting sued. You know, they can continue a relationship. And she feels like, you know, hey, my pussy was on a billboard, or it wasn't even your pussy. Me having a dick in my mouth was on the poster board, and I need you guys to never talk to her again. And a lot of them are not standing for that. They telling her like, girl, you throw a lot of rocks and hide your hand. You have the same amount of fault in this as her, even when she maybe stepped a little two steps ahead of you. But you know, you guys were both walking a narrow line, honey. But the conversation, the ladies they don't really get to see eye to eye, and Shamina is tired of hearing these girls argue. So she gets them bitches up and they start line dancing. And that is where the episode ends. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. I'll be back very soon with more content. Jaylin is back. Like I said, I give you Jaylin in the springtime, honey. I am coming, pumping these videos out. Anyway, subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. I love you, and I'll see you soon. Adios.